everything has a period of incubation, and whatever that incubation period is, there's nothing we can do about it. Everything unfolds at the right time, and whatever unfolds is the right time for you. Why you feel impatient and what it really means in our spiritual journey. Today I want to share with you about the truth of impatience. Impatience comes easily for many of us because we simply haven't taught ourselves how to not be impatient. We've grown up in an environment where we've been in schools where they taught us how to follow the timelines, and we have to do our exams in a certain timeline, and we have to complete everything in a year so that we can go to the next level, and so on and so forth. And then we grow up, and then we go and work in places where we have deadlines, where we have to fulfill all the work, the projects that we have to do. And each day we are given tasks where we have to complete it within the timeline of that day. So we have been programmed. Our nervous system has been trained with impatience. And so we don't know how to be not impatient. We don't really know what is patience. How do we grow up? Nobody taught us. Nobody taught us in school how to be patient. And so we just created ourselves in this way unknowingly. We kept adding to this impatience more and more as we kept growing up. And here we are today. We don't know how to be not impatient, and we become aware. We've started on our spiritual awakening journey. We've started to work on ourselves and on our personal growth journeys, and we get impatient. And that's very natural. When I started on my journey 16 years ago, I didn't know anything about patience or impatience, and I was just doing life before that. And although I was aware of a lot of stuff from a very young age in this lifetime, but still I was programmed by the normal world information. And so that's how I carried on. But as I started as I continued into my conscious living journey, into my spiritual awakening journey, I became aware of the impatience when I was doing certain things, or I wanted to get to somewhere in my journey. I wanted to feel this way. And especially in your healing journey, we tend to get very impatient because we want to heal very quickly. At least I was like that in my healing journey. It took me a long time, but I was impatient and I wanted to get there very quickly. And that sabotages ourselves, unbeknown to us. That restlessness, that impatience actually sabotages our own growth. But we don't know that, so we keep doing it. And so as I started on my journey, and I became aware of the impatience, that I wanted to get there. I wanted to get there where I wanted to be, where I thought at that time that's where I want to get to, that's where I want to be. So I became impatient. And then I carried on for a while in that way, getting restless and sometimes even frustrated. Why am I not moving forward? Why does it seem so slow? Why is it not happening this way? It's happening for other people. Why is it not happening to me? And comparing yourself with other people. This also comes in when we get impatient. We begin to compare ourselves with others and then start to beat ourselves up a little bit. Why am I not there when they're there? So the impatience kicks in. And why am I not successful for many people? Why am I not there what my friend is doing? Why am I not successful the way they are? Why don't I look as good as they are, even though I'm eating the healthy diet and I'm doing the exercises, etc., etc. So the impatience kicks in, wanting to get to that result that we're seeking for. And as long as we remain in that seeking for something outside of us, the impatience just gets bigger and louder. And so that's what happened to me. I became aware of that impatient voice that was getting louder. And so one day, as I was sitting in my stillness, as I'm listening to myself, and we cannot begin to listen to that inner voice, that guidance, until we are ready. And so there is no rush, there is no impatience. You are ready when you are ready. And so one day, as I was sitting there in stillness, this is the guidance that came through from the Divine Spirit within, letting me know, trust and surrender to the divine timing. And when I started writing my first book, and I was getting impatient because I wanted to get there, I wanted to finish the book and publish it, and that's when the voice came in. Trust and surrender to the divine timing. And trusting and surrendering to the divine timing, we may have heard it so many times. I had heard it so many times too. And in the same way, you may have already heard it from other people, from many other teachers. We've heard it many times. We've read about it many times. But the difference is hearing or reading and then saying, I know it, and taking that information in and applying it into our lives. That's the difference. So you can have a mantra, you can have an affirmation, but if we don't know how to apply it into our lives physically and practically, then it's equal to we don't know it. And that's the difference. That many people repeat affirmations and say that they don't work. And I was there too. Once upon a time, I was there too. I was just meaninglessly repeating. And it doesn't work when we're meaninglessly repeating. So this is what happens if you are feeling that way, that yes, I've done that trusting and surrendering, but it's not working. And if you're still in a place where you are feeling that impatience controlling you somewhere within, and you're not able to let go of that, then this is what I'm going to share with you today, how I practice it, that can make a shift for you. So every time you feel that impatience kicks in, the thing about impatience is that it's by the time we are, whatever age we are in, 20, 30, 40, 50, if we have been practicing that for so many years, and many of us have been practicing impatience as a life practice unknowingly for many years, because many of us, the moment we're born and come into this world, we are programmed with fear, whether that's from our family, whether that's just from our life, our surroundings, whatever it is, we are programmed. We come in touch with fear very quickly in our lives, and that becomes one of our programs. And running from that fear, we just want to get to that end point really quickly so that I can relax. That's what we tell ourselves. So if you can think of a day where you think a lot of stress has been triggered, and so you call it a stressful day. Oh, I'm stressed. And therefore, you just want to get to the finishing line, come to that end so that we can relax. And that's what many of us feel and live that way. The reason why we get impatient and we want to get to that finishing line is because of this, that we just want to relax. We want to end all these struggles. We want to end the stresses. But when we are not aware, and we've been living in this programming for so many years of our lives, what happens is it's a wiring system that runs in our body, in our nervous system. And so we just continue firing that. So anytime we are in a situation where we want to get to the finishing line quickly, oh, I must complete this now, or I want to end this, I want to get to that stage quickly. Even if you are in your spiritual journey, I want to get to the stage where I'm really this, and whatever goals, even if they are soft goals, but whatever it is that we want to get to, wherever it is that we want to get to. If you begin to trigger that impatience within you, if you feel that impatience rising within you, this is the technique that I do, is to catch it right there as it rises within you. There it is. And then you're going to sabotage that wiring. So this is the difference from mindlessly repeating affirmations to actively applying it in your life. This is the difference. And this is something that I hadn't heard from anybody before. I started to listen to the guidance from within, the divine spirit that was guiding me, that taught me along the way. And it did not come to me in a day. It took me a long time. So everything unfolds with time. Trust and surrender to that divine timing of unfoldment, step by step. We don't learn everything in a day. We can't get everything done in a day. And so just learning step by step, that's how I learned it along the way. So when we have been triggering this functioning from impatience or from fear or stress, whatever it is that we tell ourselves, if we've been functioning from this for a very long time, then that's the wiring that's running inside of us, in our nervous system, in our energy system. So in order to cut through that, we have to sabotage that in order to put this new wiring in, this new information, this new program that you're going to feed in. We have to cut that. So sabotaging that. And in order to do that, you become aware whenever the impatience is triggered within you. If you start to get impatient, that impatience rises within you, catch it at that moment. There it is. I'm getting impatient. I am using the voice of impatience that I've been using for a very long time. That's it. The moment you bring your awareness, you have been able to bring yourself in that space in your nervous system to cut that old programming. Then you're going to replace with a new programming, which is I trust and I surrender to the divine timing. So when you do this practice, that you just slow down, close your eyes, stop for a moment. So if you are impatient, getting impatient, and you're running, you're in the middle of doing some things and you're busy with your jobs and you realize that you're getting impatient and you just start mindlessly repeating, I trust and I surrender, it may not work. You need to sit down into a quiet space just for a few moments. It doesn't have to be long, it can be just 3 minutes even. But every time you feel this impatience being triggered in you, just close your eyes, sit still for a few moments, and then bring yourself to a calm state of breath. That's when we can sabotage that old programming. That's when we can feed the new wiring. So this is when you're going to say, I trust and I surrender to the divine timing. And connecting with your heart center really helps in reinforcing the energy of the words that you're speaking, because our heart center is the most powerful center. And so when we connect with our right hand on our chest and the left hand on top of the right hand, and you're connecting with your heart center, bring yourself to the calm state by closing your eyes, bringing your breath down to a calm state, and then connect with your heart center and speak the words. I'm aware of the impatience that was just triggered within me just now. And I am learning to let go of that and now feed myself with this new information. I trust and I surrender to the divine timing. And so as you begin to practice this, and the more you do this, you will realize very quickly how powerful it is and how the trusting in the divine timing calms your nervous system, that you don't have to trigger that fear that I need to finish it, I'm so stressed. We don't need to trigger any of that, but we can just trust and surrender to the divine timing, that whatever is unfolding is happening at the right time, because everything is. There is nothing we can rush. You look at a caterpillar. The caterpillar has to sit inside the cocoon for that particular time to become a butterfly. We cannot open the cocoon earlier. We will damage it if we try to do that. A baby has to be in the mother's womb for 9 months. We cannot pull the baby out in 3 months or 4 months. We know that. So everything has a period of incubation, and whatever that incubation period is, there's nothing we can do about it. Everything unfolds at the right time, and whatever unfolds is the right time for you. So whenever unfolds is the right time. And as you begin to affirm this to yourself, that Everything happens at the right time. I trust and I surrender to the divine timing. The more you do this, you'll notice that everything is just going really smooth. There's nothing you need to put pressure on yourself about anything, and everything is just unfolding just right. The divine timing is just perfect. Everything is happening exactly as it is designed to happen, as it's meant to. Our life knows, our body knows, everything about the divine spirit within knows everything about ourselves. The only one that doesn't know is the egoic self that gets impatient. So that's the only one who doesn't know, and that's the one that remains in the limited space. So letting go of that limited one, the limited selves, and trusting and surrendering to the timing that runs for this entire universe, everything, the day and night, we know that it runs as it is by design, the way how the earth is, the way how the light is. And so everything happens in the right timing, in divine timing. Everything is perfect as they are. Trust and surrender in divine timing. So this is all I wanted to share with you today. And if you do practice this, let me know. I look forward to hearing from you, because we're here to do that. I love hearing your stories. We're here to do that, to share our stories, to encourage each other, and to support each other in our conscious awakening journey, to play a part in this human spiritual evolution. That's what we're here for. And so I'm sending you so much love. I'm sending you many blessings for your journey. Thank you for being here.